Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about Ideanomics and corporations. It's been a while since my last video. The last time I've talked about it was the previous reversal somewhere around here, where it actually did see around $1.80 and then continued to flop down to I think 82 and then jump back to 97. Today I'm going to be talking about technical analysis on this stock. Make sure if you're missing out on technical analysis, you find a playlist in the description below that explains each of them. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help the channel grow, subscribe, leave notifications on. I'm going to go to technical analysis, news, and what I think about this stock, and let's jump right into it. On a 1 week perspective, what we get to see here is that there was a negative reversal seen on the week of August 30th. Now that was fueled as well with a really rough beginning to September and all the way to mid-September, where this stock as well got slopped up with a downward trend market. What we get to see is that the MACD hasn't kind of balanced out yet, although the average directional index shows in that this negative trend is coming in towards an unstable stage where a reversal is likely. That's really close to 50. It did hit 50 and then dipping down to 46.65. I remind you that is an actual negative trend and it's kind of coming down from it. So that is positive news. 1% R sits the stock closer to oversold, but a lot closer to neutral. Momentum here seems to be a little bit sloppy, but still it is at a negative momentum on a 1 week perspective. Although volume looks bullish here, as it looks like there's constant increase in interest of this stock. Now the unbalanced volume, what we get to see here is that it's actually dipping down, and that's a little bit dangerous because it shows in there's probably a lot less interest in this stock in terms of inflow to outflow, and it's actually lowest it's ever been at that state. If we were to look into moving averages, it doesn't tell us much other than it literally could go ripping higher or lower, but right now from what it looks like, it's actually sitting somewhat, I would say 10 SMA is above 30 SMA, that's bullish, but it's below the 50 SMA, so that's bearish. So it's a little bit mixed on that scale, the moving average. Now let's take a quick look into the 1 day perspective. And what we get to see here on the 1 day perspective is this stock here has had its rough share of days here. And you get to see it gone through a negative reversal around 12th of August, right after their earnings, where it went from $1.85 all the way to $1.37. And then you get to see it actually attempts a reversal around the 1st of September, gets refused by a downtrend market, attempts again, gets refused around the 16th of September, and right now it's actually going towards a negative reversal. Probably going to be attempting again another reversal in the next week. So whether that actually kind of comes through or gets rejected again for the 4th time, that would be another good question. Although it's 1, 2, 3, so maybe 3rd time a charm. Sorry, not 4th, 3rd time. Unbalanced volume here looks on the 1 day perspective that it's actually picking back up, so that is good news for us. IDEX shows in that the stock is actually sitting in a little bit sloppy sideways movements, nothing significant. 1% R puts the stock at overbought around 30.43, around negative 20 is the overbought section, so it's very close to there. Momentum seems to be actually being strong, going strong and recovering back what it actually has lost, so that is good news as well. Moving on towards moving averages. The stock is officially above the 200 SMA line that it broke down for a few days, so that is a positive thing. Now above that, everything else is bearish. So it's below the 50 SMA, that's bearish. 30 EMA is above the 10 SMA, and that is bearish. Now the thing that concerns me is that this is a trading action zone that is bearish, so that means if it does jump all the way up to $13, it might see a negative reversal. If it does jump above there and it crosses the $28, then it actually might see a lot better of a push, and it might actually be higher highs. I mean, it hasn't broken the 50 SMA all the way since pre-earnings, and it went from $40 to $85. So once it breaks the 50 SMA, it can really go up higher prices for a long time. There's a long time here. Now on the 1 hour perspective, what we're going to be seeing here is just mainly to anticipate the next few hours off the trading market, so don't give it much mind. But the MACD looks like it's curving down, but it's been rejected, the negative reversal on the 1 hour perspective for 2 days. Moving averages looks incredibly bullish, except the 50 SMA, 200 SMA, it's below that price. But it's actually attempting there, and it looks like it's currently above the VWAP, and if it does dip all the way down to 92 cents, it has a trading action zone below it that is actually bullish trading action zone, and it can actually see a jump. Look at this here as well. This is a bearish trading action zone and actually broke through it before, so that's as well a good indication of this stock might have some strength to it. ADX shows in there is a very strong possibility for trend forming. William %R here looks overbought. Momentum looks strong. MACD looks like it's curving downwards. So overall, it looks more bullish on a 1 hour perspective if you're probably going to be selling coming in Monday. Now, moving averages band, I wouldn't give much significance to this just because it's actually going downwards here. And but for the sake of the argument, and I give it almost 0 reliability. 98 on the bottom, $1.09 in the middle, $1.20 on the top. Let's move forward. Moving averages looked a little bit bullish onto the 1 hour, yet a bit mixed on the 1 day and the 1 week. So we're going to take a look into supports and resistances. A really strong Fibonacci support at the 82 cent is there, and it actually bounced back from the 81-82 cent mark and then bounced back. $1.16 is the next Fibonacci retracement resistance, and $1.43 followed to there. If we were to look into supports and resistances, and I'm going to be zooming just a little here, what we get to see here is currently we're sitting at 95 cent strong support, and you can see it's been tested a few times before. And then below that, 93 cents, lower significance, and then 92 cents, and then the 90 cent mark one, and then below that we're looking at 86, 87, 84, 82, and then 81. We're looking at resistances, a really strong resistance here that's been tested a couple of times. 97 cents mark, $1.01, and then we're looking at another one that's been tested a few times before, is $1.04. Above there we're looking at $1.05. This one here as well has been tested a few times. And then above the $1.05, $1.08. Above the $1.08, I would say around $1.11. Above the $1.11, $1.16 is a significant one here. And then the $1.19. Past the $1.19, $1.20, you can actually see a run here. Let's take a look into latest news. And I'm sorry this is being a little bit of a lengthy video. So taking a quick look into institutional buyers, you get to see on the 10th and the 19th there's been additional shares added towards the stock. It looks like somewhere around 70,000 shares added on. Ideanomics also has a general meeting happening on October 22nd at 10 a.m. So there's going to be different proposals in here. Nothing looks very alarming to me other than perhaps additional shares being added, but that's the case for almost all stocks. There's also been this 424B form that's been submitted, and it just talks about issuing of 1.6 million shares and 100,000 shares of common stock to Toner respectively on or about September 10th. A little bit of dilution there from my understanding. That's what the 424B means, but it doesn't really affect the majority of investors. It just goes straight on to shareholder. So it's not going on towards the flow as it usually does. There has also been updates to MEG activities during the period of July 1st, 2020 until August 30th, August 31st. So this goes on to 2 months of actual activities. Around 557 units invoiced, and around half of those were invested, a little bit less than half. Actually closer to 1/3. Taking a quick look as well, what we get to see on the company itself in the news, what we get to see is that one of the things that people are missing on is their monthly newsletter. So the newsletter here actually does show a lot of information. This is the one from last month, and we get to see the next conference is happening on October 22nd to 23rd for the 4th Intelligence Electric Vehicle Summit. I do expect that it's probably coming in any day now. I mean, they've had put it out before on the 24th, the 26th, 21st, and the 31st. So the latest I expected is probably end of September here. So probably just because they usually do 4 weeks, I would say easily somewhere around the 30th or early next week is where we get the next newsletter, and we get to kind of poke around with it and try to identify some of the updates that the company has and what their next conferences are. Now, coming into what I think about the stock. At the very start, when it started more of like around the pumping here, it was a little bit of a nerve-wracking, and I didn't really love to hold it up. I mean, I believe I sold somewhere way early around the 79-cent mark, all the way back there. I got criticized on it, but definitely if you have bought around here, I definitely feel your pain. I know a lot of people that bought around, I believe, the $2 mark after the Hindenburg research paper came out. which is, I believe a lot of it was misinterpreted from SECs and twisted, so it doesn't have much accuracy to it at all. But when it comes in towards this stock, if you're going to be holding until later on, because that's where the MEG and that's where their investments will probably actually be paying off and shows onto the quarter reports. The quarter 3 might be very interesting, and you get to see some of the proceeds from your operations in China. And then going on towards the later of the news, later news coming in towards the end of the year. Now just make sure, keep in mind that there's definitely going to be as well adjustments from the market itself. So if the market does dip or fall down, this one probably will follow. As you get to see in terms of September, it actually starts seeing more of a downtrend there onto the September, but that was mainly just the market itself adjusting. But in terms of the longer run, I definitely see a bit of spikes here and there. Now, how low would it dip? Is this kind of the recovery that we're seeing? Now, you get to see there has been a recovery here, and actually seeing a jump, a bit of recovery here, but it looks like it's more on a sideways accumulation / downtrend period. But that is fine, because what you have is resistances on every level because of people that want to throw their bags out. And you have people that just want to sell at any cost with lower volume. It will dip down the price. In the longer run, this will probably pay off. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe.